Welcome to Meomi PopScope, where we examine entertainment trends through a data-driven and media-focused lens. Today's analysis centers on an unexpected yet widely discussed phrase circulating online: 190 centimeters tall, yet still looks small, referring to Liu Yuning and the official poster for his 2026 Hangzhou concert. This is not a controversy or a headline driven by speculation. Instead, it is a case study of how visual design alone can generate significant online engagement. The phrase originated from the official concert poster released for the Hangzhou show scheduled on March 14 to 15, 2026. In the image, Liu Yuning is lying sideways beside his dog, Daimi. The composition creates an intentional visual contrast. Despite standing at 190 centimeters in real life, he appears unexpectedly small next to the large frame of his pet. The contrast reverses the audience's usual perception of his height and immediately sparked online conversation. Within the first 48 hours after the poster's release, related keywords combining his name and variations of 190 centimeters looks small recorded a noticeable spike in discussion across major Chinese social media platforms. Engagement was especially concentrated among users aged 18 to 30. Importantly, the majority of posts focused on the design concept and visual humor rather than personal matters or controversy. From a visual communication standpoint, the effect is straightforward. When a tall figure is placed next to a large object or positioned horizontally rather than standing upright, the perception of scale shifts. Height becomes less visually dominant, and proportions are reinterpreted by the viewer's eye. This design decision transformed a known physical trait into a talking point. The poster also contains several subtle details that further encouraged audience interaction. Observant fans identified hidden text reading "Dami Zyasagu" in the lower right corner, which many interpret as a potential musical reference connected to the concert setlist. A clapperboard prop marked 0108, corresponding to his birthday, appears within the composition. Other elements reference his acting career beginnings in Hangzhou, reinforcing a narrative connection between his musical journey and earlier professional milestones. These embedded details shifted the poster from a static promotional image into an interactive discussion piece. Users began zooming in, highlighting sections, and creating short-form breakdown videos explaining each symbol. Notably, much of this amplification appears to have been organic rather than driven by paid advertising campaigns. The engagement was fueled by curiosity and shareability. Another layer of discussion centered on body proportions and photographic perception. Liu Yuning's height has long been considered one of his most recognizable physical traits. However, when seated, reclining, or positioned at specific camera angles, the emphasis on leg length and vertical proportion diminishes. In the poster, his long legs, which typically account for a significant percentage of his standing frame, are visually compressed by the horizontal layout. This creates the small impression that contradicts the numeric reality. Online forums extended this observation to previous public appearances. Comparisons were drawn with past behind-the-scenes footage and street-style photos where scale differences created similar illusions. Rather than forming criticism, these discussions lean toward technical analysis of framing, depth, and spatial balance in photography. As the phrase gained momentum, older clips resurfaced in which Liu Yuning humorously referenced his height in interviews and variety settings. These moments were reshared alongside the Hangzhou concert hashtag, further strengthening cross-platform visibility. Fashion discussions also emerged, particularly focusing on his modern drama styling without traditional headpieces, which visually reduces head volume and can subtly alter proportion perception. The Hangzhou concert, positioned as the 8th stop of the tour under the theme, Spring Love, experienced a measurable increase in location-tagged mentions following the poster release. Prior to the visual reveal, Hangzhou-related keywords showed standard engagement levels comparable to other cities on the tour schedule. After the poster circulated, mentions containing both the city name and concert theme rose noticeably, suggesting that the design effectively amplified awareness of this specific stop. At present, the keyword cluster surrounding 190 centimeters looks small continues to generate moderate but steady interaction. The highest engagement occurred within the initial 3-day window after publication, a typical pattern for visually driven social media trends. Activity has since stabilized rather than sharply declined, indicating sustained curiosity without escalation into controversy. Crucially, the overall tone of discourse remains light and analytical. There are no dominant negative narratives attached to the phrase. Instead, the conversation demonstrates how a carefully constructed visual contrast can reframe a well-known characteristic and temporarily redefine audience perception. From a media strategy perspective, this case illustrates the power of design in shaping digital conversation. A single image, when layered with symbolic details and visual irony, can trigger widespread discussion without relying on dramatic storytelling or speculation. The poster did not change the factual reality of Liu Yuning's height, it altered the framing through which audiences interpret it. At this moment, online attention remains centered on the Hangzhou concert imagery and its creative elements. The discussion has not shifted toward unrelated topics, suggesting that the narrative remains contained within the promotional context. You've been watching Meomi PopScope's analysis of current entertainment media trends. We will continue to monitor how visual strategy and audience perception intersect in today's digital landscape. If you're interested in objective breakdowns of social media engagement and media impact, stay connected with Meomi PopScope for future updates.